President Davis, the live stream is now in progress. You may start the meeting.
Good evening and welcome to the July 16th regular board meeting of the Capistrano Unified School District. The meeting is now in session. The time is 5:01 p.m. Mrs. Hayes, please call the roll.
Trustee Castellanos. Trustee Castellanos is currently absent. Trustee Pritchard.
Present.
Trustee Zollinger.
Here.
Trustee Adnams.
Here.
Trustee Jones. Trustee Jones is currently absent. Trustee Bullicus.
Here.
Trustee Davis.
Here. May I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
Moved by Trustee Bullicus, seconded by Trustee
Second.
Adnams. Mrs. Hayes, do we have any speaker cards regarding the adoption of the agenda?
There are none.
Okay. All those in favor of adopting the agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries 502 to adopt the agenda. Mrs. Hayes, before the board recesses to closed session, is there anyone who'd like to speak to a closed session agenda item?
There is not.
Okay, being that there's none, this board will now recess to closed session to address the following agenda items. Student expulsion, 1 case. Student readmissions, 2 cases. Students expungement, 1 case. Conference with labor negotiators, CUEA, CSEA, Teamsters, CUMA, and unrepresented employees. Liability claims, 3 cases. Conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, 2 cases. Conference with legal counsel, existing litigation, 4 cases. Public employee, employment, appointment. Principal, elementary school, multiple sites. Executive Director of Curriculum and Instruction, General and Special Education, 6 through 12, and the Adult Transition Program. The board will now recess to closed session.
President Davis, the live stream is in progress. You may start the meeting.
Good evening and welcome to the July 16 regular board meeting of the Capistrano Unified School District. The meeting is now in session. The time is 6:03. Mrs. Hayes, please call the roll.
Trustee Castellanos.
Here.
Trustee Pritchard.
Present.
Trustee Zollinger.
Here.
Trustee Adnams.
Here.
Trustee Jones.
Here.
Trustee Bullicus.
Here.
Trustee Davis.
Here. Thank you. The Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Meg Urbis.
You're good. Ballpark.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which we stand, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Mrs. Hayes, can you please read the report from closed session?
On agenda item 3A, student expulsion, trustees voted 7-0 to approve the following case, 2025019. On agenda item 3B, student readmission, trustees voted 7-0 to approve staff recommendation on the following cases, case number 2025008 and case number 2025012. On agenda item 3C, student expungement, trustees voted 7-0 to approve staff recommendation on the following case. Case number 2025012. There may be an error there. Could we go to the agenda listing on the screen? Yes, 3C. And then go back to, if you will, please, 3B. And it is the same case number. I just want to verify that. Okay, going on to agenda item 3D, conference with labor negotiators, no reportable action. On agenda item 3E, liability claim, trustees voted 7-0 to approve staff recommendations on the following cases. Rejection of government claim number 2412552, claim number 25135, 591, and claim number 2513592. On agenda item 3F, conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, trustees voted 7-0 to approve staff recommendations on the following ADR cases. Case number 2025061 and case number 20250 On agenda item 3G, conference with legal counsel, existing litigation, trustees voted 7-0 to approve staff recommendation on the following OAH cases. Case number 202501160, case number 20250303000, case number 20250300952, and case number 20250500931. On agenda item H1, trustees voted 7-0 to appoint Mindy Davis Brown, Principal, Lobo Elementary, effective July 17th, 2025, and Yesenia Hogenkamp, Principal, Palisades Elementary, effective July 17th, 2025. On agenda item H2, trustees voted 7-0 to appoint Jeff Jones, Executive Director, Curriculum and Instruction, General and Special Education, grades 6 through 12, Adult Transitions Program, effective July 1, 2025. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mrs. Hayes. I'd like to recognize Dr. Brown, who will present his opening comments, followed by any trustee comments.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the first official Board of Trustee meeting for the 2025-2026 school year. I'll be very brief this evening, as I hope everyone's having an amazing summer. I get asked a lot, why do you go in the summer? What's going on? I thought schools were closed in the summer. Summer's planning and prep time. CFC staff are working really hard to prepare our sites for the return of our students. They're cleaning campuses, making repairs, moving teachers' classrooms, analyzing data, onboarding new hires, making sure we get new hires for principalships, as we just saw, finalizing grants, preparing trainings, dealing with budget changes, et cetera, et cetera. And all the while, our sites are still hosting summer sports camps, extended school year programs, summer academic camps, extended learning opportunities. So the kids are still here. It's just not the regular school year. So it may only be mid-July, but our principals are actually returning to their campuses next week to start final preparations, to have our opening management meeting, and to get ready for staff and families and students to return. And in just a little over a month, we will return to school. And I do enjoy the first day of school, but no rush. We could take a break. So that concludes my comments for the evening.
Thank you. Trustees? Any comments? Okay. Happy summer. It is, like Dr. Brown mentioned, it's an exciting time as that we anticipate the start of next year and what that looks like. So, and I would like to just acknowledge the retirees listed on this month's agenda, for certificated employees on this month's agenda, and the classified employees on this month's agenda. So certificated, or sorry, let me start with, certificated, we have a teacher, elementary school teacher, that's been with us. We have two teachers that have been with us for 39 years. And that's Kelly Basher and Lisa Wazinger, and an elementary school and a middle school teacher. And Jill O'Connell-Bogle, executive director, has been with us for 37 years. And we have 36 years, 34 years, 32 years, 28 years, 25, 24, 23, 20, 20, 18, just to name a few for those that are retiring this year. And then our classified, we have Karen Scott, who's Director 2 Information Systems, 27 years. Monica Simpson, a para-educator, 26 years. And Julie Yu, Office Manager for 26 years. People like to stay with us. We're doing great things. So congratulations to all those retirees, and thank you for all your service. Okay, we're now moving on to oral communications. The total time for oral communications shall be 20 minutes. Mrs. Hayes, do we have any speaker cards for oral communications?
We do. We have 6 speaker cards, so they'll be allotted 3 minutes each. I ask you to line up, and we'll, in the order that I call your name. Lisa Myers, Michelle Blanchard, Matthew Hamilton, Jamie, Linda Moore, and Angie Gutierrez. Lisa, go ahead.
Okay. it is summertime, and I appreciate your comments, Dr. Brown, and that is exactly why I felt like it was so important that I come here to talk about what actually has been going on this summer. Our Orange County Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Stephen Bean, himself an immigrant to the United States, said our responsibility to support every student in our schools is both a legal and moral imperative, and our commitment remains clear and unwavering. He also emphasized ensuring schools remain safe and supportive environments where every student can thrive. We have about a month before school returns, and our Latino students have spent their summer watching in horror as ICE has spread widely over Southern California. One of the most egregious incidents was when Narciso Barranco, a landscaper and a father of 3 United States Marines, was violently taken by ICE while he worked. I cannot imagine the trauma that our Latino students who have seen such violence repeated over and over again on social media this summer, what that has made them feel and how that feels seeing the violence perpetuated on their community. Approximately 30% of all the high school students in this district are of Hispanic or Latino descent. My Mexican-American mom friend has spent the summer watching, in her words, inhumane treatment of her fellow Mexican, and she feels so deeply distraught, and her daughter is a high school student in our district. What is this school board doing to ensure a warm and welcoming return to school for these students? Are there communications in the works ensuring parents and students will feel welcome and supported when they return to campus? Have the counselors been provided training on how to support our students who have spent the summer under enormous stress and fear? Have you considered how our Latino students' learning might be impacted when they are worried that family members might not be home when they return from school because they've been arrested by ICE? These students deserve the top-notch education that Capo Unified provides, and they need to feel welcomed, wanted, and supported through this difficult historic time.
Our next speaker is Michelle Blanchard.
Okay, nervous is much more empty than I thought it would be. My name is Michelle Blanchard, and I live in Trustee Bullock's district, and I work in Trustee Davis's district as an ELMT for the last 2 years. So working 17 and a half hours a week. I'm here today to speak to the board regarding the critical role of the library staff and ask that they approve the recommended 5% wage increase. I know we're still in negotiations. I'm just here to speak on behalf of the hardworking library staff. Although I've only been working 2 years as an elementary library media tech, I began volunteering at my kids' school at Castile in the library. I actually began as a teacher before that, not at Castile, but in Anaheim City School District, but then was home with the kids. And working in the library was a great gig. And at the time then, the library staff was only there once a day, and they completely relied on the parent volunteers to do everything. So I'm very grateful that I was fortunate to jump on the negotiations that now we have, since 2024, a librarian on staff at the elementary 5 days a week. But I have witnessed, just in my 2 years, the hard work that all the librarians put in. I volunteer at Newhart Middle School regularly in the library when I can after I work, and I see how often the library staff, every time I'm there, doesn't matter when, there's at least one student in that hour period that comes in with the Chromebook issue. I'm fortunate on the elementary level that my issues are not as traumatic as the middle school and high school that I see. They had to deal with a lot of damage with their Chromebooks. But to give you an example of a typical day for myself as an ELMT, I work 3.5 hours a day. I'm responsible for classes coming in, reading to the classes, which I enjoy, choosing books for the kids. ordering books and a lot of other things. But for example, I often have a lot of the younger elementary, first grade and second graders coming in. Recently, one particular class, this class of actually 28 kids, she can't manage all the issues, so the teacher's often sending the student to come to me to ask what is going on. Their screen is blue. They don't know how to get to the next screen. And I can't not deal with that. I mean, I'm going to help them in the best way I can, even if it's interrupting my class, to get them back to class, so that they can continue their work. So I deal with that on a daily basis on top of my other duties, and I just hope that you'll consider the increase in wages and help support the library staff so we keep people like myself. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Matthew Hamilton.
Hello, I'm Matt Hamilton. I'm a parent of 4, a business owner, and I am a product of the California public school system. I went on to get degrees at Brigham Young University and Duke University as well. And I've usually just sat idly by and kind of let things happen. I recently read a book. I would recommend it to everyone in this room, anyone with children, nieces, nephews, or in some sort of teaching capacity, The Anxious Generation by Jonathan Haidt. And I feel it's important that we acknowledge the damage that smartphones are doing to our children, as well as other forms of screens that we believe are assisting their education, but in fact harming their mental health and their social well-being. I grew up in a generation with no smartphones, limited computers. We solved problems hands-on. We were forced to make friendships face-to-face. And today, I would urge the board to consider to adopt no phones in school, go back to a bell-to-bell engagement, ban Chromebooks or do no Chromebooks, and do an end of block scheduling. I know that's a lot, but I really feel strongly that this will help assist our young people to mature in ways that they are not maturing today. And as I mentioned, I have children in 3 of our San Clemente schools right now, and 4 children total. And so I feel strongly about this. The research is astounding. Analysis shows smartphone use lowers test scores. Studies show that scores dropped even by 14%. Mental health crisis is up 51% in teens that use social media for 4 hours a day, especially in young women. I have 3 young women. Smartphones disrupt dopamine. They fuel irritability. We all know this. We all see this. And it ultimately tanks GPAs and outcomes in their life. Many schools are banning smartphones. This is not an anomaly. This is a trend across the United States. 40% of education systems across the United States, 79 systems have banned smartphones, but specifically in private schools, which tells you if someone's paying college-like tuition to send their child to a private school, they are insisting that there are no smartphones, and that is creating tremendously positive results, improving test scores, improving outcomes for these young people. I could go on. My simple urge is to open up an agenda item and look into this, and that we should take the time to analyze the harm that this is doing to our young people and ultimately give our children a chance to excel in school. Beyond that, at a time, bell-to-bell engagement, I have personally taught young people. I teach a religious Bible study every morning at 7 a.m. I know how hard it is to engage young people for an hour, but simply letting them resort to their phones for the last 20 minutes of class is not education. And lastly, I really know the value that Chromebooks presented during the pandemic and how they have allowed us to streamline things, but ultimately
Your
that
time
is
is up.
unfettered access that our children have.
We'll go on to the next speaker.
Dr. Brown, are you able to respond? The trustees don't, but could we make it that we could ask someone from our administration to share the cell phone policy we have going forward?
Yeah, so the state of California is requiring all districts to have a cell phone use policy or no use policy in place by June of 2026. We will be bringing our policy forward this fall. We've been piloting it in many of our schools to reduce cell phone usage during the day at our school. So the board will be considering a policy and looking through policy this fall.
Jamie, please go ahead.
Thanks. Hi, my name is Jamie, and I'm a parent of a almost fifth grader at RH Dana, one of our dual immersion Spanish-English programs. I'm here tonight because many families, including my own, are feeling uncertain and anxious. And in this moment, I believe our district has an opportunity to lead with transparency, care, and courage. Back in March, a board member used a racial slur from the dais. Since then, members of the NAACP have come to this very room month after month, respectfully asking for cultural competency training and policies that can help prevent future harm. I want to echo that ask tonight. Please consider meaningful, proactive training for board members, staff, and educators so that our schools can be places of true belonging and respect for all of our students. We also know that fears around immigration enforcement have intensified in recent weeks, as Lisa shared, particularly for our Latino families, who make up nearly 30% of our district. Families are scared. Children are anxious. I'm anxious. I ask this board to provide clear, up-to-date communication about how our district plans to respond if ICE activity increases near or on our school campuses, and what supports will be in place for students impacted by this trauma and fear. And finally, with the looming $6.9 billion in federal education cuts and the restructuring at the Department of Education, families need guidance. How will these cuts impact our special education programs, our after-school services, and teacher support? I respectfully ask for transparent communication about what's ahead and what the district is doing to protect the rights and learning opportunities of all students, especially those who are the most vulnerable. These asks come from a place of care, not just for my own child, but for every family in this district. We all want safe, strong, inclusive schools, and that takes leadership, communication, and a willingness to listen. Thank you for your time.
Our next speaker is Linda Moore.
Hello, I'm a retired CUSD teacher, and all of my 30 years teaching have been spent teaching in Title I schools, which focuses usually on immigrant children. So I have a lot of experience working with those children and the programs involved in such, and the teacher training that's required of it. It's very important. We can see that CUSD has put a lot of money and effort into teaching our immigrant children. And now we have a Congress that has passed a budget that will take $6.8 billion. It'll take it away and improve school funding from 33 states, including California. A large part of that is Title I money. This money was already promised and budgeted by local school districts for the upcoming school year. It was supposed to be paid starting July 1st, 2025, as in this summer. It's pretty apparent that this is a Republican Project 2025 goal. They really are seeking to eliminate public education. So what I ask of our board is for the immediate release of the public school funds that have already been appropriated by Congress. And our schools, because our schools will really be in crisis now. We've always had funding problems in CUSD. It's only going to be worse now. I hope you'll all make a plan and do the best you can for our Title I schools, our Title I children. I thank you for your time.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Angie Gutierrez.
Good evening, Superintendent Brown, President Davis, and members of the school board. On behalf of the CSEA bargaining team and members of our chapter, I want to extend my sincere gratitude for approving our contract. Your support not only validates the vital work of classified employees, but also reflects a shared commitment to the students, staff, and community of CUSD. As this was my first experience participating in negotiations, I'll admit I felt a little intimidated walking into the room for the first time. However, that feeling quickly gave way to admiration. The collaboration, mutual respect, and tireless effort displayed by both the CSEA and district bargaining teams was truly inspiring. I was so impressed by the professionalism and dedication shown throughout the entire process. It was clear that everyone at the table was committed to finding solutions and working together in the best interest of the district. I'm incredibly thankful to all who played a role in reaching this agreement, and I'm excited to move forward with optimism and a shared focus on what unites us, ensuring the continued success of CUSD for our employees and most importantly for our students. Thank you once again for your leadership, partnership, and continued support.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to 11A. May I have a motion for board action to adopt initial reopener contract proposal from California School Employees Association, Capistrano Chapter 224 for negotiations for the 25-26 fiscal year.
So moved.
Moved by Trustee Jones, seconded by
Second?
Trustee Bolkus. I'd like to recognize Bob Presby, Associate Superintendent, Human Resources, who will introduce the item.
Thank you, President Davis. Staff presents item 11A, the initial reopener proposal for CSEA Chapter 224 for the 2025-2026 fiscal year. The district's initial proposal was approved at our last meeting, and if this item is approved, the negotiation teams can meet to come to a tentative agreement for the 2025-2026 fiscal year. Staff recommends approval.
Thank you. Ms. Hayes, do we have any speaker cards for this item? Okay, there are none. Trustees, discussion? Comments? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries 7-0. Moving on to 11B, may I have a motion to approve the declaration of need for fully qualified educators 25-26?
So moved.
Moved by Trustee Adnams, second by Trustee Zollinger. I'd like to recognize Bob Presby, Associate Superintendent, Human Resource Service, who will introduce the item.
Thank you, President Davis. Staff presents item 11B, the declaration of need for fully qualified educators. This item was previously presented and approved by the board in April on the consent agenda. However, the California Commission on Teaching Credential has indicated they needed this declaration approved as a discussion action item, so we're bringing it back this evening. Staff recommends approval.
Thank you. Ms. Hayes, do we have any speaker cards for this item?
We have one speaker card. Bradley, please come forward. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Bradley. I am an alumni of San Clemente High School as well as Bernice Ayers Middle School, and I support this motion to ensure that we have highly qualified educators for our schools. I've been the gracious recipient of the education of many highly qualified educators in the past, and I am concerned that with the current political climate right now, that doing so will be extremely difficult, particularly with the advancements of Trump's federal Gestapo ICE agency, which is already taken moves to interrupt public school activities such as graduations and providing an increasingly anxious climate for educators who are, in most cases simply want to do the best job that they can to teach their students and are now having to be afraid of potential backlash from the administration with regards to DEI policies or the immigration status of their students. And in addition to not only stating a need for highly qualified educators at our schools, I would like the board to take proactive action to speak out against the actions of this administration and provide a more safe and welcoming climate to prospective educators who would feel protected and secure in working at our schools. Such actions include preventing ICE agents from entering non-public areas of the school, such as classrooms or anywhere that requires a visitor pass. This would give both students and teachers the security they will need to teach and learn in the classrooms. I would also like the board to enact DEI policies that ensure that all students in the school and teachers are going to be welcomed and included in the teaching and education and learning process at our schools. I think these policies, among others that I have not enumerated, will increase the likelihood of qualified educators seeking interest in teaching at our schools and will alleviate some of the troubles of us finding them. So I appreciate your time and hearing my comments on this matter, and I support your movement to pass this measure or whatever it is. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee discussion? Comments? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes 7-0. Moving to 11C, may I have a motion to approve trustee remuneration? Moved by trustee Zollinger,
Second.
seconded by trustee Adams. I'd like to recognize Chris Brown, superintendent, who will introduce the item.
Thank you, President Davis. This item addresses trustee remuneration for the 2025-2026 fiscal year. In accordance with Board Policy 9250 and Education Code 35120, trustee compensation is reviewed annually and may be adjusted to reflect the average total compensation increase provided to all district employees during the preceding year, with a maximum cap of 5%. All employee negotiations for 24-25 have been completed, and the average increase district-wide for the preceding year of 23-24 was 0.32%. As such, this item proposes a 0.32% increase to the current monthly trustee stipend of $852, bringing the new amount to $855 per month. The estimated financial impact for this item is approximately $284 annually. This expenditure is funded through the general fund, and staff recommends approval.
Thank you, Ms. Hayes. Do we have any speaker cards for this item?
We have one speaker. Bradley, please come forward. Speak on 11C regarding funding.
Good to see you all again. I missed the public comment section, so I'm using the agenda items. But I do have some comments about the funding for our trustees, our hardworking trustees. I do support you guys being paid more. I think it's a difficult job, and I think if you guys were able to make a little bit more money, it would incentivize other, members of the community who may be less able to take on the role that you guys do, and include some additional parts of the community into these discussions that are so important and affect all of the students in our community. So I'm not opposed to you guys making more money to start. I am, however, concerned about the general funding of our public schools. As a previous speaker mentioned, the current presidential administration is seeking to cut public school funding as much as possible, and in the intent of eliminating public education altogether. And I think our district is not immune from these goals by the administration. And I would like to see a comprehensive plan put forth by the board to counteract and defend against these comprehensive cuts that have started to come and will surely continue to come in the future. And I would like to know what it is that they will prioritize in funding into the future, and what it is that they are considering to cut if the funding does not come. And again, I'm okay with you guys making more money as part of that. I want to make sure that school lunches and breakfast are provided if they aren't already. And will be continued to be provided, because it's an important part of student education, is being properly nourished. After school programs and extracurriculars, I think, are very important to student education and overall mental well-being in the primary education years. And team sports, I think, are very important, and I would like to ensure that those aspects of the public education system are continued to be funded, and as well as teacher salaries continue to be funded, if not increased, because they are the lifeblood of our public school system. And I don't need to use my full 3 minutes, but I think I've made my point. So thank you guys again for listening to me, and I appreciate all the work you do.
Thank you. Okay, trustee discussion? Comments? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, passes 7-0. We'll now move to the consent calendar. Mrs. Hayes, do we have any speaker cards for this item?
There are none.
Okay, do we have any trustees that have any consent items they'd like to pull? Okay, may I have a motion to approve the consent calendar?
So moved.
Moved by trustee Bolkus,
Second.
second by trustee Adams. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, the motion carries. Oh, I'm sorry. That's correct. Okay, motion carries 7-0 to approve the consent calendar. Did you have any other comments on that? Okay, thank you. I have a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Moved by trustee Zollinger, seconded by trustee Jones. All those in favor say aye. Aye. And any opposed? Motion carries 7-0 to adjourn the meeting. The time is now 6:36, ladies and gentlemen. Have a great night.